back to Encounter Proposal, the podcast where two friends make a hypothetical tabletop game one misstep at a time. As always, I am your Game Master Kyle, joined of course by our very own Critical Failure.
Oh, I'm Will. I'm
Welcome
back.
back!
Yeah, we're back. Look at us go.
My god, that's how
Rule
many
of
in a
classic
row?
rule of thirds. Comedy rule of thirds.
Rule of thirds. This is episode 4.
Yeah. Well, this means we did it. That's
We
enough to
did it.
establish a pattern.
We beat the pattern. That's what it is.
Yeah. There's no rule of fourths. This one, anything could happen. There's no laws here.
Anything can happen. I don't think that's a good idea when the whole point of this is setting up rules for a game.
Uh, uh, uh. I take that back.
There's
Is
no
is
rules.
four a
Bye.
famous anything? Is there a famous four of anything apart from
Um,
Fantastic Four?
there were no, there were 5 musketeers.
No, there were four Musketeers. You're right.
Oh, did you count D'Artagnan?
No, he's the fourth one.
Is he not the fifth one?
I swear he's the fourth one.
I'm
There's
I'm
three.
I'm
There's the
quoting.
classic phrase, three Musketeers.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then there's a fourth. We could have a musketeer in the game.
You have
Pretty
to
cool.
remember, I am probably quoting The World's End and not anything to do with. So that's
Ah,
my bad.
yes.
Because I always thought there was
Yeah.
5, but I guess he missed. Anyway,
And I'm
tabletop
quoting the
game.
Doctor Who spin-off that I wrote myself.
Oh,
So it's oh boy.
oh, it's gonna be
They're
interesting.
like completely different nerds.
It counts. It counts. It counts.
Yeah.
How have
Right.
you
So
been?
today, how have I been?
Oh, how have you been?
Have I been? A
Yeah,
big question. I'm all right, I guess. Yeah.
good.
I'm okay. You?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I've tried to do a little bit more homebrewing of stuff, and it hasn't gone very far.
What you're trying to make this
Uh,
time? What's the damage?
rat people. It's difficult. I've had a couple different like mock-ups of it, and it's gone nowhere, so I haven't shared it with anyone, which is a good
Right.
start.
What kind of stuff were you thinking?
I don't really know. I think that's the thing is like I'm struggling is like I feel like I when I go into like the D&D Beyond homebrew, I see the word burrowing and I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, every animal digs." Obviously. So,
Yeah. Are you making him? You
yeah.
giving them a dig speed again?
No, but I thought about it and it doesn't make sense, so I'm not going to.
Because you'd never want to run dig speed. You just want to play dig speed.
Yeah, that's the thing is like there's no playing around it. So I'm not sure. I think I really had the fox people much more set out than the rat people. I have
We can
ideas.
date this episode
Huh.
because Blizzard just announced a character that mines underground.
Oh, they did? Oh yeah.
Yeah, the new Overwatch character. They just like burrow underground, pop up, kill you, go away
Oh.
again.
The other one that they announced is like a space character, which actually looks really fun. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, they're, uh, their characters are always good. I just don't know if I'll be able to afford to play as them.
Yeah, I
I don't know
haven't.
if I can put the costs together yet.
Yeah, I don't think I've bought the last 3 characters they've put out. The last one I bought was Ramatra, and I just gave up after that.
He was cool though.
He was very cool, and then they stopped
We
getting
should,
cool.
I suppose we should have a terrifying robot terrorist in our game, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
that maybe not this one. Maybe the next one.
Yeah. So what are we looking at today?
Today I believe we're of two minds. I know that we wanted to focus on sheets or skill
Yes,
check.
I had an idea for sheets.
If you have ideas for sheets, I would like to hear them out because I have ideas on dice.
Okay, that makes sense. I have like no ideas on
Okay.
that. My sheet idea
Hmm.
is based on the board game Villainous,
Okay.
which for those who don't know is an IP based card battler where you get a board in front of you that's got 4 locations and you move a little play piece from one location to the next, and you can then do the 4 things like that location, whether that's draw cards, play cards, earn points, whatever. But you can't stay on the same location. So your 2 turns in a row can't look the same. And I thought maybe that could be how actions work. So like you've got a sheet with 4 boxes on it.
Hmm.
You've got slash, move 10 feet in one box and you've got move 20 feet heal in the other one, you can't do the same one twice. You bounce back and forth, and then when you level up, you get another box, and maybe like the buffing characters could be like double the points in someone's rightmost square, or
Ah,
block
okay.
an opponent's square, or whatever.
Hmm.
Just to say that you could have multi attack that would let you use the same square twice.
Ah, okay. That could be fun. So it's
So that
trying
could
to
be like a
like
spell.
you're trying to like encourage not having the same like abilities twice. You're trying to like encourage mixing up each turn.
Yeah, I'm trying to discourage just like hitting, and that you just hit the thing hard and it dies.
That's fair. That's fair. Because as I've played a warlock, I have found that you really do just default to I'll just blast and I run away. It's really tough to try and mix up your movement, especially with like martial classes as well. Like I personally find it quite difficult. So I think if the game bakes in like being able to switch up certain things, I think that'd help a lot.
I also think it would make it easier the two skill trees we were talking about, because you could have it that once you've got four total levels,
Hmm.
you've got four boxes. Once you've got six total levels, you've got five boxes. So like it builds up,
Yeah.
and like different characters can split them differently. I like the idea that the cursed character has like access to a second sheet that's got different boxes. They're like animal state or like creature state.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
it's kind of like Druid.
yeah, but that's got like one less box than your level, and it's got less movement and more attack or something. Or
That's
they get
fun.
access to one extra box for a bit. That could
Hmm.
be fun for one of the characters.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, like for a certain amount of turns, you can use this extra. Like, yeah, I really like that. That could be really fun.
And each box could only have so many points in it. So, say that heal is worth 1 point, but some sort of like fireball would be 6 points. You could have a box dedicated to one thing. So, rather than like spell slots and spell levels, it's how much something costs to have in one of the squares. Like it takes up inventory space, essentially, like an inventory manager.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I really like that. I think that could be really good.
So, like a low level caster, well, we weren't really going to have, but you know what I mean? Like low level spell casting,
Hmm.
you could have one really powerful spell in one of your boxes or a pretty basic spell in all three.
Yeah, I could see that. That could work really well.
I think it could be fun. I think for like early level play, it could be really different, and it would be very hard to mimic with a different system.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think having it laid out like that does immediately make it feel unique, but also fits to the style of game we're trying to play.
Yeah, yeah, because if you say like a level one character has one attack, the ability to heal another player, and 30 foot of movement, and they can split that 30 foot between the two boxes, the hit and the heal box.
Hmm.
Or they could have all their movement in one box and their hit and heal in another box. And then at level two, you start getting your like class traits that go in the boxes that aren't passives, and then like so on and so on. It'd be really
Yeah.
fun. That was my idea.
No, I really like that. I think that could work really well. So you'd have, so say with like the sheets that you use to play. So you've got the one with like the boxes. So you've got sort of like your attack, your movement, and your healing in the cinema boxes. I guess you'd somewhat customize those yourself, or do you think it would be laid out for you with the class that you pick?
I reckon you've got a sheet that's got a list of all the things you can do. So
Hmm.
like attack and then what attack means. And then you've got another sheet or like a fold out board or whatever of these squares, and you can choose and it says how many points you've got in each square for the level that you are.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
and then you put whatever shorthand you want for like heal in that box so that
Hmm.
it doesn't get cluttered.
Yeah.
You can go like, oh, I can heal and attack this turn, so I'll look what that means for me, and then do those things.
That's really fun. I think that makes that like quite easy to do as like so I guess that'd be like the encounter section of your sheet, so that'd be like the fight section.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what I'm like, so that's gonna be that's the bit that I
Yeah. No,
gravitate towards.
no, I see what you mean though. I think that makes sense. Like as someone who enjoys fighting so much, it's really helpful that you fully understand like how you would want a fighting sheet laid out, and it sounds very simplistic. Like it sounds like you're able to sort of create complex things within it, but it is sort of set to a very easy layout that I think is easy to introduce people to.
I feel like you need to like pull from ttrpgs, jrpgs, like video games
Yeah.
handle turn-based stuff really well. Like XCOM handles it really well. I also wanted to pitch, while I think about it, the initiative you roll being your AC. So how prepared you are for what's about to happen.
Yeah. Uh, one
But it's
thing that
got like a plus based on your race and armor. Yeah.
yeah. One thing I've seen a few systems use, which I think is really interesting, is instead of always rolling initiative, because I mean we've both ran like D&D games before. One of the most frustrating things that you can have is that like, oh, give me 10 minutes while you like call out to the whole table, figuring out what everyone's stats are, and then having to roll a bunch of stuff for everybody. I think like
Yeah.
so one thing that I've seen systems do is that you just have like a baked in AC. So you've just like whatever like you were saying, like maybe your armor class is your AC. Like it's your preparedness is this like catch-all stat. I personally think that would save time in combat to be like while you're still calling it out, you're not having people rolling, you're not having to roll for however many minions you've got on the board. You've just got like, oh, this big bad, their AC is 15, and then if someone else has 15, I don't know, compare deck stat or have it to like a coin flip. Worst case
I,
scenario if they match.
I like that. I've just realized that this podcast is going to be me admitting things I do wrong in D&D. But when I have an encounter, I've always rolled the initiative before we've started playing
Oh well, there you go.
for
So
the
it's
yeah,
yeah, so it's the system that other people use to save time.
yeah, exactly. So we
Yeah,
just build it in.
yeah, I think that works. I think that really is like something a lot of people like because I know that some I've heard quite a few people complain about 5e's fighting, and I haven't seen many other systems handle it much better. But
Yeah, I somewhat agree. I don't know. I think I flavor it loads. I think if I wasn't flavoring it, it wouldn't be fun.
yeah, no, it can be very stale. But I think
Mm.
that's the thing is like combat may be the one that we come back to every now and again and say like try and sort of fix more because I've just recently gotten the Avatar RPG and I'm very interested to like start reading that because I've heard that's very fun and I know that that's got like maneuver cards I think they're called and
Oh,
those
nice.
yeah those give you like your okay, I haven't fully read it yet. I only got it like 2 days ago. But yeah, you get maneuver cards and they sort of tell you like what movements you can do and what attacks those maneuvers have with them. So I think like because a lot of the I don't know if you've seen the show before.
No, no,
Ah,
I haven't.
a lot of the like fighting is done with it's almost like a dance. So I think your movement is baked into your attacks. So I think like if you move a certain amount of feet, you can do a certain attack sort of thing. I'm not sure. Again, I need to read it properly, but that's how I would have done it, and that's what it sounds like to me.
Okay, I kind of get what you mean. I think yeah, combat's going to be like a last thing, one of like the later things. Once we've got like what the moves are, we'll know how to.
Add
It's
them
going to be
in.
a bit back and forth, I think.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
You said you had dice ideas, which
S-
scares me.
yes. So with these, this is sort of like more outside of combat. I guess what I mean when I say dice is skill checks. I think it's very easy to default to a D20 system, but if you default to a D20 system, how different are you and how different does the game feel to, oh, we could just be playing, 5th edition. So I've played a couple different games with a couple different systems, and I think a few of them have handled them very well. I'm going to list off a couple and see what you think, because I know that you've got a couple as well. So, the first one that I go to a lot, Call of Cthulhu. That has you have your sheet have all your skills on it, and those skills are broken down into points that you get a certain amount of that you can buy into those skills, and it's a 1 to 100 number. So say for example fast talk is a skill that you have on your sheet. You then point buy into it and try and get that number as high as possible, because Call of Cthulhu is a D100 system, which means you roll 2d10 dice, and that is how you verify like a success. So, say again, your fast talk, it says 65. That's how many like numbers you've put into it. You have to roll underneath that number to know whether or not you've got a success. And then if it's a hard check, you do a half. And then if it's a very difficult check, you do a quarter. So the DM isn't having to like on the fly think of DCs constantly, or the game master. You're having those DCs like on your sheet. I kind of think it forces, or it can lend to people sort of speaking and saying, I want to do this, and then rolling without the DM asking. But Call of Cthulhu seems a lot more sensible, and I haven't had anyone do that.
I haven't had anyone do what? Sorry.
Um, have you ever been like at a table where someone's like, "Oh, I want to do this," and they just roll before you even like,
Oh, yeah, no,
y-
yeah,
yeah, and I think that system kind of lends to it, like knowing what your pass fail is gonna be. I feel like you can say, "Oh
yeah.
well, I'm just gonna," and then like I'm just gonna fast talk and then roll, and then be like, "Oh, I passed." But I haven't had anyone do that with Call of Cthulhu. Obviously, I know that's just like, "Oh, I've got a good table, so no one does it." But I know people do that with systems, so I think that's what would put me off of doing the like point buy and having your DCs on there to take the workload off of the DM slightly. But I do like that system. What do you think?
I like the system a lot. I do agree, though. It does like incentivize players to not ask the DM for things, and that sounds good to someone who's never played a board game before.
Yeah.
Um, because you're like, oh yeah, I have to ask permission to do things. You're like, well, yeah, that's kind of like ignoring the ref at a football game.
Yeah,
It's
it's.
like, I'd bring out a knife, I guess.
Oh no, my sheet says I only need an 8 to bring out a knife, and I rolled a 9, so it's there. Yeah, which D&D has sometimes a huge issue of, and I think we've all been victim of it, and we've all done it. So maybe not that one. Uh,
Yeah, I like um I like rolling lots of dice, so I do like that one for that reason.
yeah.
Um, which is very simplistic, but
Mhm.
um,
Well,
I'm sure you
if
get
you
what I mean.
if you like rolling lots of dice, my next pitch for you is a little game that I love quite a lot called Tales from the Loop.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah.
Tales from the Loop is a game set in an alternative 80s where little towns have been built on top of a particle accelerator and weird things happen, and you're kind of based as younger children for the game to work, so it's less gruesome. It's a very Stranger Things meets like a retro future style game. It's a very fun system. It's one of the more niche ones that I've found that I've just kind of fallen in love with. But the dice system, amazing. The way that it works is that you have skills and they will give you a certain number. So one of the ones is like dexterity or like tree climbing, and it's a d6
Right.
system.
Sorry, tree climbing really caught me off
Yeah,
guard.
it's a really strange one, the way that the sheet works, but the way that it works is that it's a D6 system, and the only way that you can pass a skill check is by rolling a 6. And the way that the sheet decides is that it'll give you a number, and that tells you how many D6s you roll. to increase the odds of rolling a 6 to pass a skill check.
That's weirdly similar to die.
Yeah?
Yeah. So in die, you just use sixes,
Hmm.
and I think a three is a success, regardless of there's no like a unique AC.
Okay.
It's all to do with how many dice you get to roll. So, say you roll, so you've got an easy thing.
Hmm.
You roll three d6, and you only need one three. But you've got a difficult thing to do. You need to roll above three times with those three d6.
Yeah, Tales from the Loop does the similar thing of if it's a really difficult check, you'll need to roll like two or three sixes.
Yeah. The trick with die
Hmm.
is that every class has a unique special dice. So the d12s, the d8s, the
Hmm.
d20s are divvied up depending on the class you are. And you can roll that for specific things, and that still only has to get above a three. So it's like odds are much higher for doing it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's quite fun.
But that game, I must say, is not balanced because
No?
you're playing as the gods of this world. So
Okay.
like it's balanced in that um, you know, the game works, but you're really strong. The game knows you're really strong. It doesn't make you fight things to
Yeah,
like die. You'll die other ways.
that's
Um,
quite fun though.
I do like it. I like the idea of unique dice, but I also don't. I don't know.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. It's very difficult to kind of figure out what works for the system. I know we wanted it to be very like simplistic. So if we want like attacks and stuff, I think that the like however many sixes lets you pass a check kind of goes against it. But I think we
Yeah,
could work around it and say like if you're proficient, depending on the level, that gives you like X many extra d6s to roll. So like if you were doing an attack, you roll like say you for example played like the woodsman, you have a lumber axe, you're proficient with that, you're like level 3, so you'd roll 3d6s, and on a 6 it hits, and then it's got a damage die. I think it could still work.
I like that. I was just thinking maybe we have like a martial die, a magic die, a fear die. So
Ooh, okay.
like a D4 could be like magic. So any sort of magic check is done with that because it's harder to know
I like that.
because like people don't know it as much. And like maybe the witch gets to roll a D6 for her magic rolls, but everyone else gets to roll a D4. But they have to roll a D4 for their martial rolls. So like strength stuff. And then there's one for like maintaining your fear, could be your 20s.
So are you thinking more like kids on bikes?
Yes. I also like their explode system, if you want to explain that, because you're better at that than me. But
It's a very fun system. I've only played in that once or twice, and I believe I played the Kids on Brooms version. But the way that Kids on Bikes works, that's another Stranger Things esque sort of like 80s. You
he
are
loves those strange things, does Kyle?
I love them so much. No,
Wow.
it's
Do you
an
think it would have done as well if it was called quirky stuff?
no, I don't think that the British spin-off quirky stuff would have done as well. If it was like
No, the British spin-off is a bit odd in it.
a
That's all. I'm
bit
bit odd
odd.
in it. Fuck
No,
is that?
quirky stuff, I think would have gone down pretty
Ugh,
poorly. Maybe that's what this is
I don't
called.
know.
This is called quirky stuff.
Sure. And so
Oh.
our game's got that. We got Millie Jobby Brown, whoever her fucking name is.
No. So kids on bikes. The
Kids on bike.
system is that you have a full set of dice. You've got a D4 to a D20, and you have oh god, how many is it? D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20. So you have 6 skills, and
Ooh, I
you
see you learned to count in German.
what?
D1, D2, D3.
Oh, ah, oh. but but yeah. So you've got 6 skills, and you assign one of those dice to each of those skills. The higher the dice is, the better you are at that skill. So
Okay.
DCs are relatively low.
We
Uh,
could do that, but you rather than you choosing yourself, the class chooses for you.
yeah. They've got like archetypes in Kids on Bikes that does like a similar thing. It helps you decide instead of doing it yourself. So I think it's a really fun system where but the idea is that even if the exploding system we mentioned, say you've got like an intelligence skill and you've assigned a D4 to that skill. You're very bad at that skill and the DC is very high, but you still want to give it a go. You're the only one in the room figuring out the puzzle and you've got your D4. If you
Yep.
roll a 4 on that die, if you roll the highest number on whatever die you've chosen,
It
it
explodes.
explodes. And by exploding, it allows you to roll the dice again. And then you add whatever you roll next to your previous roll. So you can keep exploding. So technically, you could like roll up to infinity, but likelihood very low.
Well
Someone
done.
could
Well
still
done.
be playing Kids on Bikes right now and doing a
You
skill
could have
check.
played from day one. Please,
One of those
please let me
poor
land this charisma check to join this cool group of adventurers that have all died at first.
those poor testers, those poor Kickstarters having to sit there and test out the game. They're still doing that skill
Uh,
check.
I feel bad for the testers on the first time they said that any number that would explode, you just keep rolling. There's a guy still in there. It's the oldest man
Oh
alive.
god, that's just like a perpetual motion game. Yeah, it's called Ouroboros. So basically, you just roll a number and it continues to roll every time you roll.
Just keep rolling our dice.
Yeah, just keep going. But
We've made our dice a spear and we've put it on a
no,
infinite, put it on a Mobius strip.
Ah, awful. I don't think. But
No,
no, I don't think that our signature dice being a ball is a good idea.
I do. I think it's a great idea. I've had an idea.
Go on.
Oh boy. So say you've got those different dice for different skills and
Hmm.
you want it to be much simpler. What
Yeah,
if we've just got like three skills?
yeah, yeah, and you've got like, hmm, what would you say the three dice are?
Um,
Because I do like three
uh,
skills. I think keeping it simple is very nice.
I I think they're probably D60 48.
Okay.
I reckon it's probably uh like strength, somewhat like physical,
Uh,
mystical, or like fantastical could be cool for one of them. Fantastical probably works.
yeah, I like that. So it's like Wait, is fantastical the physical one? Are you thinking?
So it'd be physical, fantastical, because that'd be anything magical or like mysterious.
Yeah, and then like an intelligence check.
Yeah, smarts or brains or something. And
Yeah.
then um, when you've got to do something, it could be two strength or a strength like two physical and a fantastical. Like if you've got to do like a push
Ah,
open a
okay.
magical door,
Mhm.
you just like divvy it up.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's very fun. Are we still having like? Oh, wait, do we still want to sort of take the exploding system, or do you have any other ideas?
I do really like the exploding system, and I think it's because I like critting in D&D. I
I
think it's
think it is.
fun,
It is very fun. I do
but we
think
don't do
critting
it
is
how
fun.
we're meant to do it. So
No, but I think
who
there's
knows if
other
it is
ways
fun?
of working around it. I think there's other ways you could crit.
Okay, um, tell me, Kyle, how else could you
Oh,
crit?
on the spot.
Where is the crit, Kyle? I've never found it. They're
Awful.
making it up.
Um. Oh God. You put me on the spot here.
Okay, I don't have one. So,
You don't have one. Okay.
well, I think you could crit if you like landed the dice on its side, like it wasn't on any of the faces.
I That'd be an extremely impressive way of
You'd
doing that.
crit. You can't do that on Roll20. You can't do that online. It has to be in
No.
person.
I think that's the thing is it's like figuring out a way that you could play them on both. I think maybe your crit like upgrades your dice. Could be
Okay.
fun. like exploding, but instead of rolling the same dice again, you get to like retake your chance and add the previous number onto like a newer, higher rolled dice. So while, like you said, you've got the three systems or the three dice for the three like ability checks. Maybe it's like originally if you do your worst one, if you crit with that, you can then go up to your next like stronger dice and then roll, and you've got the possibility of adding higher.
That could be fun. I like that. Hmm. I was thinking maybe if you crit, you can get help.
Oh, okay.
Like one of the other players can then, like the player to your left, then rolls to help you with their, like, say you're a like frog person,
Mhm.
witch, and you need to do a strength thing, but the person next to you is a like a woodsman. What's a strong one we've got? Half giant.
Yeah,
Then if you crit, he helps.
that's very fun. I think that could be. Yeah, I really like that. You get to like rope other people into your situation if you crit.
Yeah, would you want to be able to choose it, or would you want to be able to it be the
Um,
person to your left? Because I think person to your left is very in-person gameplay, but we know from being board game players during a pandemic that that's not always how the
not
world
always
works.
doable. Yeah, maybe you pick the person. Maybe you like at random be like, oh, I feel like you're gonna like you get to rope in the stronger person, so it like adds to skill checks being collaborative. Then if you crit, you get to like add other people into the situation.
And I reckon that that also is infinite.
You think?
Yeah, I think if they crit, they get to rope in whoever they want, and then if they crit, they get a, and then it comes back to you, and then you crit again.
I think that's very fun. I do think like
I Yeah, I think teamwork is something that is a fairy tale winner, isn't it? Like friendship along the way.
yes. So it's like a friendship crit. I like that a lot. I think that's actually really fun. I could see that
A
being
crit, a,
like exciting for everybody for the chance of like being able to get involved in something. That's really fun.
yeah, and there's no point, and there's no like zoning out and you know,
When other people are
watching
playing.
a stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that works. I like that, and
Yeah.
I think that as you said, with like bringing up kids on bike stuff and assigning stuff to different skills is really interesting.
Hmm. I really like this.
I think we did a good. I think it was good. I think this is good. This is the first time we've done something
My
balanced.
God, yeah, and it's not like cannibalized. I feel like we've somewhat like mixed it up. I really enjoy this. Again,
Is this
I've
how
been.
parents feel?
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be this or less good. There's no
Yeah.
way it's better than this.
If it's worse than this, I'm fine sticking to this.
Yeah. Hey, future children, if you're listening to this, I preferred this.
Sorry.
Sorry, take me back to this.
When things were more simple.
Life was way more simple when it was a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It just made so much more sense.
I think everyone should have a podcast. I think that the royal family should have a podcast.
Oh, I don't.
That's my
I'm gonna have to fully go against you on that. They're the last people I want to hear about. Do you remember when they released that book and it was all we could hear about?
Oh, fuck me. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
you want to take back your statement now?
Anyone who wasn't on fucking social media when Harry admitted to like getting a boner at the thought of his mother's death or whatever it was, that shit was
It was
crazy.
a perfume after she died.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. It
Lovely.
wasn't like I every tunnel now. I am fully erect.
I spray mummy's perfume on them before we start.
I I enter a woman like Mother entering a French.
We've really nosedived. like
No. Oh, we're
like
doing well. We're doing well, Kyle.
we were doing so well. We were like, and then an interesting dice system, and then remember when the
Do you
royal
remember when
family
Princess
got
Diana
really
died?
weird.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah,
Do you know why the royal family didn't like her?
go on.
She wasn't a virgin. That shit
Oh,
crazy.
that is kind of a wild
And the
choice.
queen was like a fucking mafia, like the kingpin from Daredevil. And John was like, please can I marry her mummy? I will sort it,
Ooh.
darling. And a tunnel blows up out the window.
No, no.
And then like fucking Philip comes in. He's like, excellent.
Like Darth, fucking Palpatine, Darth Palpatine. I really love Star Wars.
Man, make the Queen Darth Sidious in the next movie. Dig her up.
Ugh. I actually used that as like reference for a plot beat in one of my campaigns recently. That was quite fun, like explaining to
Yeah.
them. Yeah, there was a harbor master that they watched die, and then it was like they went away and were like, oh, he's still alive. Why is he still alive? And it was like everyone else in the town had just sort of like freaked out so much that they were like, no one else can know, so they just didn't want it to happen. So they just pretended he wasn't.
You just pretend he's dead.
Yeah, they just
We're
did
gonna
a
pretend he's alive. The Weekend at Bernie's him. I reference that a lot for someone who's only seen the second one.
I haven't seen. Wait, you've only seen the second one?
I've only seen the second one.
Is that not like the voodoo one?
I think so. I've seen a bit of the bit where like the lady in the bikini flirts with the corpse.
Uh,
That was
I,
enough for me.
I haven't seen
That
this
was
film.
enough for me. I signed myself up to a general practitioner the same day. I was like, Doc, erase this.
I need this removed. It's
They
like
leave
what?
him alone at a party, and a drunk woman in a bikini comes and flirts with him, even though he's just like a corpse.
Oh.
Maybe we could add that to the game.
Yeah, I think I think that yeah, that's one of the new classes. Puppet Boy is Weekend at Bernie's.
I reckon that there should be a subclass for Puppet Boy where you don't have a player have it. You just have them in your party, and the rest of the party have to spend their movement to make it move.
I think it'd be interesting. I had a player pitch a like a clockwork character who like each morning someone else had to like wind up their clockwork. Like one of those toy cars that you like pull back.
That's fun.
That
I
was
like the
fun.
idea of the character that you pull back in the whole next 24 hours. He has to keep moving.
He can't stop. It's
Can't
the
stop moving.
clockwork shark class.
Shut. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't
Write it
know why
down,
that
write it
took me so
down.
long. Is
I made
oh, on that note, we
oh.
had other races we wanted to add, even though we said we were done last time.
Yeah. Um bird people. I think the bird
We
people would be
forgot
very
bird
fun.
people. I liked your reasoning for why we forgot bird people, which is that we talked about flying monkeys,
Well,
so that must have covered it because they're basically birds.
well, no, the reason I had said that was because I was like, oh, I love flying monkeys, and I think they'd be a fun flying race. So I sort of mentally just wrote off flying races and was like, this is perfect. We've sorted flying races now.
We've solved flying races. We
Yeah,
solved races,
we
everyone.
solved. Yippee!
Yippee!
Why aren't they clapping?
Um, so, rather, if you don't want to play a monkey, if you're scared of monkeys, that's
Which,
fine.
yeah, that's
We
a.
can't hang out anymore, but that's fine.
I mean, Nope
Um,
came out the last year. It's a fully fledged thing. I understand why people
that
are.
was. I thought that monkey was cute.
I don't know if cute's the word I would have used.
He did bad things. That monkey is my Jeffrey Dahmer.
Sorry?
I can change him.
You can change him.
Yeah, can make him worse.
Yeah.
Train him.
Oh.
I don't think I got the point of the movie. Nope. I
No,
think I
I
became the
think you
bad
missed a
guy.
bit. I think you missed a couple
Yeah,
bits.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Bird races, and I thought that we need a normal one and duck people.
Oh, I do like duck people. I think that's fun. Mallards. Or
Yeah, I
like a
think
Howard the Duck.
green mallard people. I think make them slender potentially. Like they're the tall bird race.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
could
know
be
how you
fun.
feel about that because you just pitched Howard the Duck, and I'm like,
I did
he's
pitch
little.
Howard
But
the
I was
Duck.
picturing, yeah, I was picturing big birds, not Big Bird,
Big
but
Brown. This is
no,
snowballing
the
quite
puppet
quickly.
race.
The
Oh,
puppet.
puppet.
Not again.
Every character is a puppet.
Every character's a puppet. That is like what I
They never
want.
guess my secret. Every character I play is a puppet.
Every time I go to like run a Halloween one shot. I'm always like, oh, it's the Muppets, and then I just stop writing.
I ran a Halloween session the other day. Well, not much one, but like it was set
No,
at Halloween. That was
that
nice.
was fun though. That was fun to like be in D&D and just like play trick or treating. I think that was very fun.
Well, we always do scary stuff, don't we?
Yeah, yeah, that's
If I'd
true.
done a horror one, it wouldn't have even stood out.
No,
It's
that's
like,
fair.
oh, this again.
I think that is a good way to do it. Is like make it fun if you run like D&D like that. I want to do Strahd's Castle as the Muppets. I think that'd be really fun.
Oh, I 100% would play in that. That sounds amazing.
I need to write that, but then I also need to commission like all the art from you, which I don't know
Yeah,
if.
because you'd get me and Soph to do it, and where you play.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've seen everything. I don't know if we've mentioned this. Will does all of the art that you will be seeing for all of this, all the amazing stuff that we have.
I
Oh, it,
do
it
that drawing.
it's so nice though.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, yeah, that's been me until my hand gets blown off. I will be doing it. So,
Until that fated moment. You're a
yeah,
told
well,
child.
like that woman in Belgium told me that my arm was going to get blown off when I turned 24.
Ooh, a couple more years then.
Couple more years, and then I lose my right arm. So,
So you use it while
hurry
you
up,
can.
Elon Musk. I want my mechanical arm.
Stop testing out the Spotify on the pigs. I want to turn.
I want to turn. Stop showing the pigs. Do go on.
And give it to me.
Give me a robot pig arm. I
uh,
demand it,
I want it now. Right. I think
Elon.
I think on that note, I don't think we have anything else you want to go over.
I thought you were saying anything useful to say. We never had anything
No.
useful.
Well, no, but like
So why would
that's
he
a
say
given.
that? That's never been true.
That's a given.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's us done on structure for now until we can like move things with it. I think that's it for now.
Yes. Yeah. So a little bit might change like behind the scenes, but for now, I believe that's a pretty good structure set
Yeah,
for us to work on.
yeah. So thank you for listening again.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, take
Bye.
care.